can't do this without sunglasses, but
You look great.
thank you. I'm trying. All right. Well, listen. I think everything that needed to be said. Again, all credit and admiration and inspiration goes to those victims' family members. Very tough act to follow. When I got up in court, they really said, they really said everything that needed to be said. And they're not, that's not what they do for a living. They spoke from the heart. Incredibly affecting. It's affecting to me. And it was really, they're what this case is about. They're why, after 30 years of doing this, I'm an optimist by nature, because I don't dwell on what defendants do. I dwell how victims act, how they coalesce together, how they jealously protect the ones they left behind, how they look out for each other, and how they overcome. And I just want to say, I want to say one thing to the victims, if I could. I want them to wreak their revenge by going on and having great lives, by being happy, by being fulfilled, by being satisfied that they stood by their loved ones and did a wonderful job. And now it's time for them to heal and to go on and realize the tremendous potential that they all have, because they're absolutely extraordinary people. So that's my greatest wish for this case, is that the victims continue their journey, continue to heal, and go on and live the lives that they all deserve. Before I turn it over, I want to thank the task force. We've got some of our FBI. I've thanked so many people, and I know I've thanked these individuals, but this is the first time they're here. So we have Special Agent Eric Perry. He's around here somewhere. We have a former FBI Special Agent Mike Saybrook. They're phone experts. They've helped us in this case. They're here, and I just so many people had a hand in this. So I wanted to especially acknowledge them and their contribution to this case. And again, I could go on and thank people, but I've done that before. So I'm glad we've been trying to get them here to court, but they're busy working on other things and other cases. So they're not based in New York. So for them to come out, really thankful to them, and I look forward to having them meet the victims later. Does anybody have any questions?
Can you say what Rex Heuermann said? We couldn't quite hear it. What did you think about what he said?
I don't care what he says. I said that before. It doesn't matter what he says. What matters is what he did and what he said before he got caught. And as the victim so eloquently detailed, he didn't have very many good or nice things to do or say before he got caught. I do believe he said something to the effect of acknowledged. I don't know. I'll let the record reflect what he said, because I don't really remember what it was.
Dean Tierney, have we passed the era where serial killers can get away with it for as long as they have, given the changes that have taken place in technology and things like that?
Well, I wish that were true. I think it's gotten more difficult. But I've been beating this drum, and I'm going to beat it one more time. The contribution or the lesson that we should learn from this, that this wasn't one person. This isn't like, and I think sometimes the media likes a simple story, so they're like, oh, it was this piece of evidence or this person. That's not what solved this case. What solved this case was, I just mentioned two individuals, highly talented investigators. One of a legion of really talented investigators in this case from a whole bunch of different agencies. They came together. And they have to work through the district attorney's office. And I don't say that because I'm a district attorney. I say that because I know what the district attorney or what any prosecutor's office has, which is the power of subpoena, power to issue search warrants, power to call a grand jury. So you bring all of those talented people, you gather all that evidence, and you put it into a grand jury investigation and you get results. So I think that's what we need to get from this, but hopefully we could work towards what you're suggesting, but I don't think we're quite there, but we've certainly getting there, and it's getting more and more difficult because as we see in our digital and forensic world, there's a footprint that's left behind. We just have to be able to find it.
Ray, is this over? Is this case done?
Well, this particular case, this indictment's done. Work is never over. We mentioned some other victims, in the courtroom today, and Suffolk County is a large metropolitan area of 1.5 million people. So we've got, we've got a lot of work to do on other cases. We're going to continue to work on those cases. The nice thing about this is all the talented people, all the resources we can dedicate to those other cases.
Do you believe if Rex Heuermann may have murdered other people besides what he pleaded guilty to, that it should appear in Suffolk County?
I think the poor people that have been around and I've tortured, they know what I'm going to say. I said, it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what I believe. I'm not going to talk about what I think because it's irrelevant. And I think again, we need to learn lessons. A lot of prosecutors are very free in talking about what they think.
Do you have evidence suggesting
If I had evidence, I put it into a grand jury and an indictment, and then we come and talk about it. Until I have that, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I respect the question, but that's just the way it has to work for it to work.
Commander, can you comment? You're the one that made it look at you. You're not eye contact. Comment on how you felt when you got it worked out. Step up where very quickly.
Slide over to.
No, she knows how to walk. We're just trying to figure out.
And any other family members you want to see?
Well, she's going to think about it. So why don't we just, if anybody has any more questions for me, we'll turn it over. And I want to thank Ms. Alred for her assistance in this case. And I'm sure some of the victims and Ms. Alred are going to speak, which is great. And if anyone wants to speak, obviously they will, but we'll leave that up to them.
Ray, when is he leaving? Where is he going? Tell us about that.
Well, I heard he's going quick. And as I said, Suffolk wants to be rid of him. And so he's going to be going quick. I think he's going to be going by the end of this week.
Where?
I don't know. I don't know if he's already been designated. Sometimes he goes straight to the facility. Sometimes he goes to like an interim facility where he's designated. But that's a state Department of Corrections situation.
Mr. Tierney,
What's going
is there
on?
any updates on Medford Jane Doe?
No.
No.
And if there is, it'll be a subject of a separate press conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agent Doe, what's going on?
Same thing. Obviously, the big thing that we want, or that we're looking for with Asian Doe is getting that individual's name back, finding out who that person is. And once we do that, it'll give him some dignity and also give us some investigative leaders. So we're still working that genetic genealogy, investigative genetic genealogy. I think we're going to go into the city and make some inquiry into the city again, and so hopefully that'll bear some fruit.
What's the next step if the DNA goes into CODIS?
So, sure, I'm sorry. So as I think we've been talking about all along, case to case, we could compare DNA samples in this case with other investigative samples of other investigations. We've been doing that on a case to case basis. But once this conviction has occurred, that DNA protocol will go to the FBI, and then they'll upload it in CODIS, and then it'll be in the CODIS system, and it'll be searchable throughout the country. So that'll happen imminently.
Is FBI
I remember when he was arrested, he said that it appeared that he was following that contacting the women on the verticals. Was there any evidence that he had already selected more victims?
No. And I'll say primarily for one reason only. If you saw vertiphones that he used in the commission of the murders in this case, was just to communicate with one person. All the vertiphones that we saw he was he was communicating with multiple.
Ray, is his FBI interview taking place yet?
We'll let the FBI speak about that. But I do think that, well, I do hope, I guess I should say, that the FBI will gain insight into this individual for the sake of the FBI and for the rest of us in law enforcement across the country.
So the phones that you use on the victims, you haven't recovered those?
I'm sorry?
Burner phones that had like one dedicated victim.
Yes,
per
so
burner?
so those were disposed of after the commission. That's the purpose of the burner phone. Shortly before the commission of the murders, they were used to lure the victims, and then once the crime was completed, they were disposed of because obviously, if found, they would link the defendant to the commission of the crime. So he got rid of them.
And when you guys
But
arrested
we got obviously we got the phone.
when you arrested him, he had other burner phones on him.
Yeah, so
not victims.
so we were able to trace his burner phone usage back to around 2007, and then we were at, so we started from 2007. We worked our way forwards, and we linked him to burner phone usage all the way up to the time of his arrest. At the time of his arrest, we found one of the burner phones he was using, the physical phone, in his pocket, and another one was found at his at the location of his business.
Have you been able to trace how he managed
We have information with regard to that. The evidence shows that he met her in the city.
And the same with Karen Forgotten?
Yes.
Can you just elaborate more on what you said in court about him continuing to manipulate his family and sort of reaching himself through them still?
I think it's pretty obvious, right? So I think it speaks for itself, and I think that through the trickle of information, he's tried to give a kind of somebody's breaking into a car. That's against the law. We have a lot of
Surrounded by law enforcement.
Just something about that. He's by sort of the trickle of information that came out, I think he kind of tried to sanitize the information about this case. I think that the victims gave unvarnished information and truth about what this defendant is, what he did, and the effect it had. So I was so pleased and inspired and proud of the victims because they really gave a great account for themselves, for their family members, and it was that, again, that's what this case is about. This is why we care about these cases first and foremost, because everyone in life, to a certain extent, is two-dimensional, portrayed two-dimensional, but there's much more nuance to things. The family members knew the victims better than anyone, and they really, better than anyone, were able to really tell you what those women were about, and really inspirational and effective and important. So happy to have been a part of that. That's it.
Any comments about how it all ended and the judge's comments?
I think it was appropriate. Again, I should say about the judge. I never worked with Judge Mazzei before as a judge, so I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know how it was going to go, as you always are whenever you work a case. Very strict, no-nonsense judge, as you saw. Really, but given the complex nature of the case, the volume of the case, really handled the case well. Really challenged both myself and the defense, and just really grateful for all the courtesies that he gave both sides and the job he did. Both him and his staff and the court officers and everyone really did a great job. So proud of the professionalism here in Suffolk County, and the defense. They were great too in the sense that when you have a case like this, there were a lot of opportunities for them to complain about discovery, and we got together, we communicated, we said, listen, you can complain all you want to the judge about discovery, or we can work together and we can make this thing flow, and we can help you to have this stuff make sense, and that's what they did. So there wasn't a lot of issues that, unless there needed to be issues, there weren't issues. So grateful to them as well. That's it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Eddie and